Welcome, everybody. My name is Bina Bendale, and I'm super, super excited to have BT here with me. I actually met him in a live event back in Arizona in January, and he was just a heartwarming filled man that when he walks in, it's just you just feel the warmth of his love. And we only had a couple of minute connection at that day too, because it was a little overwhelming. But I want you to introduce yourself and tell us, what is it that you do?
And
Who are you? Who are you,
yeah,
BT?
who is
Who?
this guy?
Because we were just talking previously prior to this call that we were just getting connected on a deeper level, and there was more to me that you didn't know,
Yes,
and I know
much,
there's way
much.
more to you that you didn't know. And so we can ask questions back and forth because then if we want to have that comes up, you can ask. But this is
Okay.
just really a conversation for us to have. And but first of all, who are you, BT?
Okay, who I be, right? My name is BT Bullock. The BT stands for Brett Thomas. That is the first
Mhm.
full name. I know that's coming up. That's always the one that people hit. What is this BT thing? So my full
Yeah.
name is Brett Thomas Bullock. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm a lifelong learner and athlete. As of recent, I have stepped into the world of performance and wellness coaching. My background is in athletic development as well as sport and exercise psychology. And I'm a performance nutritionist. Served 7 years in the Army. Had a lot of fun doing that with some different camps and things to help soldier retention and also soldier wellness. I
Hmm.
just basically took that on and went into more of a private sector. Started working with a human performance lab, working with elite athletes. But then I started to see that all these gadgets and tech and all this fun stuff were just for I'm going to the NFL draft or I'm trying to make it to D1 or, I'm
Right.
a marathoner. And I'm like, but this is going to help everybody. And it's no,
Mhm.
you don't have that money. You don't have that access. So this isn't for you. So for me, getting out of the army was very difficult.
Mm.
And I just decided to take a little,
First and foremost, thank you for your service. I want to make
yeah,
sure that
no,
we hear that
volunteer.
out and comes up because I worked at the VA in Palo Alto. So I worked with military men for
Okay,
7 years of my life. So I'm very familiar with your terms and the
nice.
stubbornness.
Thank you so much. It looks like we both did our service, right? We both did our seven. But no, a volunteer, armed forces. Super proud. My mom
Mm.
was a Vietnam.
Oh, did we lose you?
I ran to my house, and hopefully we're back on.
No, we're good. I was just telling them it's a pleasure of what you do. And then I don't know, do we need this other person here now? Can I kick this other
Yeah,
BT
yeah,
out?
yeah. They can be
I
discarded.
can remove.
Yes.
No, this happens. This occurs a lot. It does comes up. We can chop it up. Don't not a big deal. You
All
know.
right. Sweet,
But
sweet, sweet.
what I was telling the audience is that you do something unique when you do training. You don't use a lot of dumbbells. You don't comes up. You'd use a lot of just just body weight.
Yeah, no, 100%. So what I've learned just from a scientific standpoint are that individuals look to an external stimuli, right? If you give me a heavy weight, I'm going to tense up and try to really take everything I can and lift it up. But when you see individuals who are walking or hiking or riding a bike, they're all because they don't have that external stimuli. So they are uncomfortable with their own body weight in spatial environments. But when you put them on a bench press or you use another machine, then they're just going to come at the force, right? They're just going to come at the force and the resistance. So I'm like, that doesn't really make sense. You want to be stable, you want to be functional and have performance within your own body weight, right? Your own movements, grocery shopping or picking up kids and things like that. So I was like, man, let's go a little bit deeper and look at movement from a completely different standpoint. And that's when I started studying Pilates and calisthenics and connective tissue and things that really structure the body from like a bulletproof standpoint. Right? If I really
Hmm.
want to be super sound, then I don't necessarily need to always go to a dumbbell or a machine. I can start getting more in tune with my body, and that creates that mind to muscle connection.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do. I notice a lot of different things. That's one of my biggest superpowers is I can read a lot of people just from body language or just by how they're presented in a room, how they conversate with other people. And one of the things I noticed even when we were in Arizona together is that you radiate confidence in a very loving way. Like you can walk into a room and it's BT is here. And I want to acknowledge you for that.
Thank
And
you so much.
but I also want to go back and just to remind you, thank you for your service, because I don't think I don't know if you heard what I said because it comes up, but I wanted to say thank you for your service serving the country. And I want to regroup a little bit because with the whole outing coming out and coming back in, we were talking about what you wanted to do initially, and you really wanted to not only take your passion from leaving the military, doing this work, going into fitness world, right? If you want to go into things like and really define who BT is, like where do you see yourself in a year?
In a year, which is wild, right? Because a year ago, or yeah, maybe 10 months ago,
Okay,
I
let's rephrase.
started,
Where were you a year ago? And then we'll go
yeah, let's
back.
get there. Let's go
Let's
there. Let's
go
go there.
backwards. Let's go
Yeah.
backwards because I want to know your story. Where were you either a year ago or 10 months ago to who you are today?
Oh my goodness, it's like I hopped in a DeLorean. Um, so, so 10 months ago to a year, I was regional fitness director BT. Like really great coach, worked with a lot of B2B stuff, but forced our organization to build up their presence, right? Just whether it's their studios, whether it's their other coaches. So I oversaw a lot of different developments in their organization. And
Got
so
it.
we were talking about it earlier. I just funneled all of BT into how do I fit it in here and then keep pumping the machine, right? Keep
Mm,
the machine running and growing. But I didn't realize how much I was missing out on, how much I
mm,
had to minimize myself to then fit it into this mold to keep the machine going, keep the cog in the wheel, so to speak. And my earth angels, Judy and Eric Thurston, they were like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I'm working hard. They're like, yeah, we get that. We want to do this stuff and do this and that. We want you here. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep working hard, and one day I'm gonna get there. And they're like, today is the day that it's now. You need to come to Transcendence. I was like, I don't know what that is.
mhm.
So long story short, I come back out to AZ. I go to Transcendence with them, and I'm blown away by
Yeah.
this amazing community of super beings, as Alok has trademarked, and
And
just
shout out to Alok. He is an amazing
oh my
person.
gosh.
So Alok, if you're hearing this, is our heartfelt shout out to you. Blessings for you. Yeah.
Yes, without Judy and Eric and Transcendence, I can't even begin to start the journey of where I'm at now. That was a very pivotal moment for me, not even seeing how lost I was because I was
Mhm.
in that hamster wheel of work. I was getting the titles and getting the higher salary, but something hit me and I said, it's really the same pay because I'm just working more. So
Right.
basically, they're just paying me more because I'm working more in the responsibilities and things that I need to do and adhere to. So I realized I'm like, wait, if I continue to do this, what is the outcome? What will be, like I said, will my life look like year,
Yeah.
2, 3? It was something that I visualized and I said, I would be unrecognizable. Like the way
Mhm.
I see myself and my aptitude and my passions and who I want to serve, I wouldn't be there. So after going to Transcendence and saying, I am a coach, I am coaching, I am in a space where I can provide a maximum value. I don't have to have
Yeah.
these parameters anymore.
Nope.
I
Mhm.
can I can create, like I can tap into source, which is the all of creation, and create and continue in abundance. And I can do it with a community now
Yeah.
because there's other people doing it. I can't, it's not like, all right, BT, how are you gonna figure it out? What are you gonna do? It's man, I'm getting all these hugs and these congratulations, all these things from people I just met 24 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
And the light and the love in the room. And I'm like, okay, like the roof gets blown up.
Yeah, community is a big deal, especially in the coaching industry. Whether it's online, whether you go to these Translucents or any of these types of events, it's a room full of people just to literally motivate you. And there's no room for judgment. They're not discriminating you. They're not like, hey, I'm in the fitness world, so we need to be in comp. It's just, there's none of that. And that is where, like a lot of Outlook and all these companies, they all do that as well, along with my same program where we do that. You build each other up. And That's what opens up the world of possibilities.
100%. When I walk through the door and I'm getting handed the pamphlets, I'm here to uplift millions. I'm like, okay, we are not messing around. We got
Yeah.
some big law. This
I
is
mean,
real.
that's why the name is Uplifting Millions, is because it's a community for people or for community for places. And this is one of Alok's superpower is he uplifts millions. That's just what his mission is. So what is the one thing you took away for yourself from that moment to like right now? What have you done for you that BT has now realized that what was your aha moment in this past 10 months?
My aha moment, two things, and they coincide, is that I was playing small and I wasn't having fun. And I can, the fun and the risk are the same thing
Yep.
because as a shorty when I was young, I loved building ramps and going off my skateboard. And if I bust a knee or whatever, or I'm riding bikes fast, or we're going off-roading with our mountain bikes, anything like that, sign me up. I can only imagine how that made my mother feel and what insurance policy we had. But that was me. That's my being. That's who I am. And over time, years and years, I need to be safe. I need to be cautious. I need to do
Right.
this. I need to do that. And you just capsulate yourself and condense yourself, and then once, like I said earlier, it's like you become unrecognizable.
Right.
And that transcendence, it was like, wait, I'm playing small, I'm not taking risks, and I'm not having fun. And it's
That's
like,
the
wow,
number one thing. You have
what?
to have fun. That is like the biggest. And I'm so happy your aha moment was having fun, because one of the things that I coach around very severely is fun follows passion. Fun follows money. Fun follows everything comes back. And when we were in our inner childhood, like when we were younger, in our young days, remember that we were having fun. Our imagination was rolling. Our things were going through, right? And when we get older, our world becomes strategic. Our world becomes, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to come in. You're like, we put ourselves in a box. And it sounds like it's a very similar path in your sense, is that we're putting that in the box. What we want to do is remind ourselves to have fun, and you're right, fun equals risk. But can you imagine how much fun did you have? Can you go back to that memory when you're riding up that skateboard, going up that big, whatever it was? Can you imagine to go back to that moment right here and right now? How much fun did you have?
Oh my gosh, what a rush. I didn't need a camera. There wasn't one. Like I
Well,
didn't
back
need
then it
anything.
wasn't
There
one.
wasn't one. I'm aging myself, but I didn't need anything. I had a friend that was like, whoa, like that's about it. Sometimes not even that. So I was having a blast and I was experiencing things. I was getting some wisdom. I was getting some life.
Yeah.
When I did that, I was getting life. I took the hammer and the nails out of the toolbox in the garage. I didn't have a video. I didn't have a YouTube video. I didn't have an older brother. I literally just said, "Man, I
But
hope this works."
do you see your creativity process with that? Do you see how when you have fun, the world of possibilities opens up? Because you want to do more. Your risks are going to go up. Your challenges are going to go up, right? You're creating your own path in that moment. Yeah, we can come up. It's the same thing with business. It's the same thing with what we're creating. It's the same things what I say about life, what we're doing is that when we put ourselves in that box, when we put ourselves in that bubble of, I need to go to work 9 to 5. For anyone that's a 9 to 5 job, I am not scrutinizing. That is what you need to do. Please hear me out when I say this. It's just that you can still do more. There's still these rooms of possibilities. Like you can still have a 9 to 5 job, but still have fun. We were talking about how you were trying to go into, I'm saying you will go into wellness coaching with organizations. I like to put things out into the universe, BT.
I felt that. I felt that. Thank you.
I put it out into the universe. It's because, excuse me, guys. It's because we need to have fun. So it's whether you're hiring BT as a wellness coordinator, or you hire me as a nurse coach, or you comes in, we're reminding people it's the same mission. You need to have fun. You need to go back to basics. You need to go back to enjoying life. Whether if it's a 9 to 5 job, get outside for a day, have an hour, go ride your bike if that's what you love to do. I have clients that they take their little thingies that you can hear still, but it's like behind the ear or whatever it is. It's still a noise canceling. I'm
Yeah,
not the
okay,
best at
I know what you're
IT guy.
saying.
I'm not the best at IT guys. My husband gets paid very well for that. Let's be real. But like they take their calls on it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And with your aha moment of having fun and doing that, like it's so key to any type of entrepreneurship or any type of rebalance or reharmony.
No,
So I'm happy
100%.
to
I
say
mean,
that.
I'm sorry.
No,
Like for me, it's having the fun and then finding myself into it, and it just all coincide. That's why I said like playing small. It was because all I thought about was dressing it up, right? Boxing it up to be service in the way that other people will accept it. So now
mm,
I'm doctoring myself up to be accepted, and in all the parts that I cut off is the magic. I'm literally chopping off the magic, the unique parts of me. So when I was like, okay, let's play big. Let's have fun. Let's be creative. Oh my gosh, now this big world of possibilities. I can do these things. I don't need to have a business degree or this and that. I need to step into my being and who I am, and that is enough.
that's
That
enough.
is enough.
And I want you to stay this way forever. I call this the magic
Thank
moment. Yeah, no, I really do. I call this the magic moment because if you stay in this magic moment and if you can remember this moment for the rest of your life, that what you just said is gold. Okay. Because if you stay in this moment and you just be BT every single day, and understanding what I mean by this is that not BT that wants to expect and make $1 million, not the BT that wants to do this, not the BT that comes up. I call those all the shiny objects, right? We all want certain things. We all want and achieve things. You can have goals, but it's staying in that magic because that's where possibilities are created. That's when your curiosity is at most because you don't limit yourself. You're just like, "Oh, I wanna do this," and I'm not gonna talk too much of what we said, prior to the call, but it's just like living that into momentum, putting that into action, making those small plans, but just being you, because when you are you, it's magnificent. Just like when I'm me, I'm magnificent.
100%. 100%. And that's what drew me to you. I don't remember the exact moment, but you had spoken and you were walking by, and I got out of my chair. I'm like, okay, I got to meet this person. I got to let her know how much that impacted me because I'm on fire. I got to TUE and I'm like, this is some heat, man. Nobody is missing at TUE. And when you spoke, I was like, okay, yes, thank you for bringing that into my life.
Do you remember what I said?
No, I don't. I
Because
wish I did.
I never remember what I say either.
I just remember the moment where you walked by after you spoke, and I was like, I ain't missing this opportunity.
I do remember that. I remember that. And I remember giving you a big hug and comes in. And that's like the thing where it's just that's where the magic occurs. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know what impact you're going to make, whether you're on a stage or not on a stage, whether you're in a room. And honestly, that at the Ultimate Coach Experience in Arizona, that was probably the quietest. I was just soaking it in. I was
Yeah,
listening. I was engaging. And it's just like when you're coming from a place of being and coming from a different place, sometimes it is just magic. I remember our I don't remember what I said, but I do remember us talking afterwards, just like how I remember going up to Sanika and telling him, like, and all I said to him on that table that we were on very clearly was just like, you are the most powerful man I've ever heard. And that was just our connection from that moment. And
yeah.
I felt that. And I said, I felt you. You know? And sometimes it's right. And it's that refining after me being a coach now for over 3 years and opening up multi different businesses, doing different things. It's learning that your power, and I say this to Judy Thorson, is probably the one of the most influential women I've ever met in my life. She is the most powerful woman in the room, yet she is the quietest woman in the room.
Facts. All
And I said this
facts.
to her multiple times, and I was able to state this to her on our live. So Judy, reach out to you too. And
My
it's that level of presence that I don't teach. I can't teach. I've learned in my presence to come in. You have that presence. When you walk in, it's okay. Like I said earlier, BT's in the room. Hey, okay. And it comes in. But you have such a uniqueness to you that I just want people to understand that never give that up. Never comes in. Because that's what that charm, that charisma, that whole thing, and me and you will have a conversation after this about more in depth, but it's just stay you on that. So after now you had your aha moment of having fun and staying to continuing to have fun. Now, where do you see yourself? I'm not even going to say here. Where do you see yourself in 6 months?
In 6 months, my performance and wellness coaching business will be 100% launched and active. I do have a movement practice and studio now, but I'm looking to move away from that to have more impact and connect with. I
Oh,
like
don't
type.
tell me about that. I was like, wait, I want more of you on the movement impact side.
Yeah, no, it's staying there. It's staying there. But in terms of like the forefront, I am finding the space within myself
Got
to
it.
service and go and get the individuals who I've always worked with.
Yeah,
And it doesn't mean that I don't enjoy helping Gen Pop or things like that, but
right.
the impact that I want to have, the value that I want to provide, and just myself too. I want to step it up too. I want to find that individual, that type A go getter, ready to go, that is saying that I have forgotten myself. So
Yeah.
it's very mirroring, right? Like I'm the same individual. I went and ran it up. And then I said, what does my life look like? Not my body, but what does my quality
Yeah.
of life look like? Doesn't mean how much I can lift or how much I can run, but how much time do I spend outside? I love being outdoors. I'm not. How much time I'm spending traveling? I love travel. I am not. So a lot of
Right.
those things after transcendence became very apparent to me. And I
Right.
said, I'm running myself into the ground. It doesn't matter how much money is coming into my account. What am I doing with it? I'm just paying bills and going back to like I didn't have any type of reverberation of energy
Yeah.
where the creativity, the adventure, the fun, right? Because the
Yeah.
fun, you can have the fun at work, but you can also have the fun outside of that, and that just funnels in, right? It just
Right.
splashes
Right.
back into work. It just
Yeah.
giving, it's a very reciprocal relationship. So
Yeah.
I am looking to find the professional who is high performing and type A, who is taking on all the things in their life. They just so happen to have lost themselves in the
Yeah.
standpoint. And I'm ready to grab that individual and say, let's go, let's run it up.
Let's go. You guys, whoever's hearing here, I can tell you, I have personally not worked with BT, but his spirit is so damn high that anyone that's looking and watching on this call, please reach out to him. We'll have all his information on our links and in on the YouTube links when it does come out. But what is the one thing that you find yourself challenging right now as an entrepreneurial? Are you working at corporate right now, or what are you doing in your current life?
No,
The first
I'm not
question.
working. Yeah, no, I'm not working at corporate now. Like I said, I do have my movement.
Yeah,
I am doing a lot of virtual coaching in the
right.
space of mobility and strength.
Got it.
But like I said, I do a lot of the wellness coaching and other contracts. So I'm looking to put that together
All
as one
together.
altar that I'm
Okay.
servicing.
So what is the one challenge that you have learned for yourself that if you were to be a brand new wellness coordinator or a wellness coach or a fitness coach by chance, wherever your specialties are, if you can tell an advice to a young person trying to be you at this moment, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that it's very telling when you have people trying to sell you marketing, funnels, sales calls, this pitch, these things, the ads. You're doing something right and you have something and you clearly are passionate about serving those people. That's why you're on those type of radars. My LinkedIn every week, man, I love what you're doing. IG, I love what you're doing. But they love what you're doing because they can't duplicate it. It's your unique outlook that is important. Run that up. So don't run to them for the 10K, 20K months. Run up what they already see because it's clear that it's something that is extremely powerful and unique, and go tell the world what you're doing.
Hmm.
Don't run to them to then cookie cutter and send it when you already are getting the messages that what you are doing is being seen and extremely unique, because there's 8 billion people out there that can see it, and you can help thousands of them.
I'm so
Thousands of
happy I'm so happy you said that. That's what I was like, yes. Someone else said exactly what I try to say.
Wait, and not to interrupt, I did it. I got on the calls, I listened,
Okay.
and I'm no disrespect to anybody who is doing this, but it's a very vampiric practice. It's give that to me, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do with it, and you just pay me, and then you run with what
Right.
I created. It
Right.
takes away from what you are and who you are.
Right.
So
It is, and it's true. And that's one of the things. It's like the cookie cutters are it does okay. It just I'm not gonna lie to anybody. It just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And the
true.
reason why it doesn't work is because it is not your program. You did not create it. If you don't create things from scratch, if you don't create what it is that you are building in your world with your marketing, with your sales, your things, whatever it is in your language, in BT's language, in Bina's language, it comes in because it has to resonate with you and it has to resonate from your soul going out to the audience. So when, yeah, I've done it. We've all done it. We all comes in. Sometimes we're like, oh, this might be the faster way or this might be the easier way to build up. I've done it. I'm not going to lie. It comes in. But the minute I went to slow back down to really learn marketing for myself, really learn how to do sales tactics for myself, and educated myself on it, you're right. My passion and what I do became to who I am today. Everyone knows I help parents with special needs. That is my true passion, right? And it's learning everything else that came in, but we all do that. So I'm happy you stated that to just what I'm hearing you, and I'm going to repeat, is just be you.
Period. You and it goes back to what we said. You are enough. And these revelations aren't just about your business, but it's about your being and everything that you hold. Mom, director, uncle, son. If you can just continue to be you and all these other things, there's going to be so much that shows up, and you're going to be like so equipped. You're not going to feel without. You're not going to feel like you have to sacrifice. The abundance is internal.
Mhm.
Like we keep grabbing that stuff instead of just open chest, allowing that to just spread out and be everything.
Yeah. And that's like the biggest thing. I like a lot of times, and I like for this to hear, especially from a young African American male, that the possibilities are endless. And putting yourself in a social stigma box, putting yourself out there with certain things to come up, the world is an oyster. Whether you're a young African American male from an Indian cultured background, from an Asian background to things comes up, like it comes back down to what you want to create, what legacy you want to leave, and
Mm.
really just your voice is what matters. And how you state it, there's no right, wrong, good, or bad. I've stated some politically incorrect shit, and I've pissed out fucking thousands of people, and that's okay. It is okay because we all make mistakes, we all do things, we all comes in. We're all not gonna be on that same page, but with the minute you find you and learn who you are, the people who are waiting for you are
Mm.
automatically gonna show up. Automatically gonna show up. That energetic life that comes through, whether it's from a conversation you have with somebody, then they go by passing, and you're just like, "Hold on, wait a
Wait.
minute. Oh, what happened here?" And then there's people that will pass by you that were very inspirational, and now you're just like, "Okay, alright, great." And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just who you energetically jab with, who you energetically goes through, whether they're a millionaire or whether they're homeless, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, I always tell people when you coach one person, or at least in my world, when you coach one person and you make a difference, then you are successful.
Mhm.
So,
No, I couldn't say that was because I put this on a post recently, and someone was like, "Oh, you coach like a lot of moms and stuff." I was like, "Excuse me?" Like, I'll coach anybody, but please bring whoever you like into the studio and go with my moms. Not in a comparison in a battle
Right.
way, but listen, my I call them my abuelos over here squatting 70-pound kettlebells and swinging 88 kettlebells. And guess what? They're getting compliments. They're swimming with their grandchildren. A whole new world has opened up to them and possibilities. And they come in with the biggest smile on their face. And guess what? That's all I need.
That's all you need.
That's all I need. I don't.
And that abuela, that grandma I saw lifting that 70-pound thing, I was sitting there going, damn, girl. I was sitting there going, I don't even know if I can do that. You know? But yeah, it is comes up, and age is nothing but a number,
No.
and our physical body is our real age number, and how what we can do and what comes up. And so,
Yeah, no.
grandma, good for you for lifting that 70 pounds.
Right.
And that
And
inspired me. I was like, I better get my ass to the gym. Shit, I better go. You
it is
know?
so cool because the commitment and investment is not in me. They
No.
come to their mat and they know when they write because I have intention boards.
Yep.
So before we start, everybody writes their intention. It can be anything, whatever motivating factor. They tap in. They
Yeah.
tap into what they can give themselves whenever challenges come up, and they look at it. They look at the challenge to even get through the door into the mat, and they say, if I can do that, then I can do this. Then when they go into the physical challenge or whatever the program is asking them, they continue on. They're like, oh, if I could do that, it's just this constant, like, I can do anything.
Anything. Yeah. And it comes back down to the it all goes back to that mindset shift of I am enough. The world is a full of possibilities, and I am the creator of what I want to create.
That's one that I wrote down in my download notebook several times from Transcendence TUE. I was like, okay, I need to take some radical responsibility on the statement itself. On the
Statements are
statement itself.
good. It comes in. It's you can't just do affirmations. Like I don't coach around affirmations a lot because to me affirmations are fucking bullshit if you don't believe in them. Yo,
Mm.
I can sit there and say I'm a powerful creator, but if my actions, if my being is not showing that I'm truly not, I'm just being inauthentic to myself. Yo.
And that's what drew me to coaching was the belief and value system.
Yes.
I was like, oh, even though I've coached like top athletes and we're all
Mhm.
focused on the mindset and how to be sharper, sometimes you just get caught in like the outcome of their performance.
Right.
And it's like, okay, cool. We work with this quarterback, we work with this captain, and we got them confident and we got them there. They're in the playoffs, whatever. And then you're like, you don't even use the same systems.
Right.
You're
But
like,
it's
wait up.
true. You have to coach, like, if you're in the coaching world, like, you need to practice what you preach.
Mhm.
Like, my word is my everything. I am still, like, recovering from pneumonia currently right now, and yet I'm still present because not that 'cause, like, now, if I'm really sick and sick, yes, I would have rescheduled this whole thing. There's no questions about it. But it's just coming from that place of being, right? Where it's if I can do it and if I'm willing to do it and I'm well enough to be there, then yeah, I'm going to show up and still be me. Now, if I go around and saying I'm doing like I'm a transformational coach, but I'm not doing practicing what I preach and practicing my own boundaries, practicing my non-negotiables, how in the heck am I supposed to teach that to somebody? Because it shows, especially if you're on like social media.
We see
It's like
you.
what I mean, like I tell people, like social media is just like an open journal. Literally, it's just a very public open journal. And if you're that's just what I have to say about that. It's just an open journal. That's all. But it just comes out. Like it just really just it does not define who you are as long as you're doing what you actually preach. So if you're going there and you're meditating and you're showing up and comes in, make sure we're balancing that in your real life. And sometimes I do a lot of meditations, but when I'm doing my meditations, I'm meditating. Sometimes I forget to go live, or sometimes I forget to do things because I'm just in my own place of creation, in my own place of nature, or in my own place of what I'm doing.
No, you're present. Yeah, that's super
Yeah.
awesome. I look at that too in terms of looking at all these amazing coaches in the being community and the Uplift
Oh,
Millions, Haven, all these things. And one thing that I love and that I connected with is that a lot of the top performing or big number coaches, everybody's like, man, look at what they did and all the sidebars. And then I'm starting to see that the commonality is those same coaches are throwing out the big packages where they're like, no, I'm getting coached all year long and it's six-figure coaching. So they're investing, they're walking, just like you said, they're investing it, but they're walking the talk and they're showcasing exactly what they're asking individuals to do. And I started to walk into that light and understand that, hey, yes, I went to this event, I'm having these amazing conversations, but I got to put my money where my mouth is because I'm leveling up. So what that means is I got to start looking at my investments and my money in my bank account to say, are we going to look at this as in a fear factor, or are we going to look at this from a faith-based standpoint of we got shit to do?
And you got shit to do.
I truly do. Thank you for noticing.
You
I got a
really
lot.
do. You got shit to do. And it's the truth. Like I tell people this, don't go into the fear factor. Everyone needs a coach. I'm a big believer in that. I have 4. I'm in Haven as well. Jamin Patel, Phil Bohol, and I'm in the Game Changers community, alumni community, which is
Okay.
all within the being,
Cool.
like 3 of them are in them, but I have 4 coaches right now. And they all serve me in very different levels of what it is that I want or what I need in that moment. And it's sometimes you go in and yeah, there's sometimes in my bank account, like someone look at me, they go, you got 4 coaches? And I'm like, yeah. And I am not biased at all to bring on another one if that feels that that's what I need in that moment. Because with these mega stars, with these magnificent things, and they can be millionaires and comes up, but it's just like the gold nuggets that they tell me that I learn within that 5 or 10-minute conversations. And then I'm able to transform that into the nurse coaching community or into my one-on-one clients or into what I'm doing. That's the biggest ripple effect of coaching. And that's what really coaching is all about. It's like taking what I've learned from all these magnificent people, making it your own, and then transforming it for other people or referring them, however you want to do it, however
Yeah.
it is that you're doing things. And it's like what Devin Banners would say, it literally is a game changer, like for reals, because you're living in the moment. You're living in that being state. You're living in that place of gratitude, and you're coming from a true place of service. And when you
Mm.
come from a true place of service, it doesn't matter how much money you spend, because that investment within yourself, and when you learn to come from a true place of service, I can coach people for free. I can do that because it's coming from a true place of service.
Mm.
Because I know at the end of the day, or I know if it comes up, it's just that connection is what I look for. It's the connection with these other people they look for as well. And that's where the true transformations come in.
Yeah, and it never stops, right?
No,
Uh, I keep talking about it and the lives that I've started to do out of nowhere. It just came about. I'm like, all right, let's just do some lives. Let's connect. Is amazing conversations, and we talk about it in Haven. It's like, how many are you having? Like, let's forget about all the sales calls and this and that. Just having an amazing conversation with another individual. And like you said, I think in servitude is where we'll find our true being, like
yeah,
in service, who we are. When we're detached from the outcome, we're in the present, we're serving, we're learning, we're listening. Like that's like this like building project that
yeah.
you're not so conscious about. Then all of a sudden you're like, wait, that's a battery pack. I got juiced up just by communicating with somebody some things that were on my mind or just
Listening. It really does, like, that connection piece, and it is so big, and even before the being movement, before I was really involved in the movement and stuff, that was the number one thing I coached on even from day one, it's those connection. Having parents with special needs, like, that's the number one thing, is the connection that we go back. That's the one of the things that we lack because of the isolations, because of certain things that come in with having kids with special needs. So it's like those reconnecting, having those conversations, that's where it goes. It all starts from just a conversation. And it does fill me up too. I can have it's because I love to know people. I really truly love to hear, what are you doing? What are you serving? What kind of comes in? But I also like to see, like, where can I help you? Where can I collaborate? What can we do to build each other up? versus let's walk together and let's go. And yeah, let's go. And it's like incredible walks, you know?
No, it's one thing that I'm noticing as the performance and wellness coaching is blossoming. So many people run to me, tell me what to eat, tell me what to do. They're just like, tell me. And I've come into this moment where I'm just so quiet and so poised. And I'm like, how are you? How's your day? Let's talk about it. You're so busy trying to get told something and trying to
Yes.
follow something that you don't understand. Like, you will lead this program. Like, working with me, you will lead the program. Yes, we're going to create a bridge, and you're going to say
Right.
that this is what I'm envisioning. This is what I want. Guess what? As you are contracting me, I'm building the bridge based off of what you are telling me. That's how I'm able to build the right bridge to where you want to go as you inform me, as I listen. I think of one
Gold,
client.
gold nuggets right there. It is the point of listening, the point of when people are asking you what to do and giving answers, getting answers like, oh, meal prepping. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like that too. I'd be like, hey, BT, can you just tell me what to eat? And I'll just eat it and prep it and comes up. But I also have 3 kids and a dog and a husband and 3 parts to my business. Sometimes I might not have time for that. But that's where the
Mhm.
disconnect is, right? It's just like, where can you slow myself? Where can I slow myself down to make it intentional so that way I know exactly the feed moments of what you're telling me. So it's a long-term goal versus just what that temporary part is to get me through. And that's like the big thing is that's building that bridge of Bina, you can do that, but let's slow yourself down. And I'm using myself as an example because that's my biggest downfall. Like that shit, I can't. Every time I'm like, oh, it comes up. I'm starting again on Monday. Just one of those commitments me and my husband made to each other. We're like, oh, we just have to go back because it is true. Like when you're going through the hustle and bustle of things comes up, it's just like, how do we not have time for this? I make my own schedule. My husband works from home.
I make my own schedule.
Wait a minute, what is our problem here? And
Right.
I even did that energy check for my own self. It's just, I love cooking. And I told my husband, he goes, yeah, why can't we do this? I'm like, it would take me like 10 minutes to cook too. It's not like it takes, because he'll try to buy these things from like Costco and dirt and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, I call my husband Love. I'm like, hey, Love, you do know, I had a realization just a couple of days ago, probably because I was sick in bed for 10 days, is I'm able to make all this in 10 minutes. Like, I'm like, what are we doing here? But yeah, we're doing that comes up. It's that connection piece. It's so huge. Comes in. So as we comes up, it's closer to our time. What is the one thing that you want to share to the world on who BT is and what your legacy you're creating?
Woo! All right. Okay, Bina. I see what you did there. I want to first start off with what I attached myself to, because that was very, very bearing. It weighed me down. It made me super heavy because I kept thinking that, okay, I did this in a chapter of my life, but this is not necessarily who I am. This is an experience, right? It is
Mm,
not the book, it is the chapter. We have moved on to the next chapter. So it is okay to move on and detach from these things. They are still a part of me, whether it be master fitness trainer, soldier, academic, all these things. And I'm just like, and real quick, it's cool because when you look at it on a resume, you stack those things up, right? You're always like, so this is all the things I've done. This is all the things I've been. But it always talks about been, not being.
right.
So as I see myself and as I present myself in this moment, what I'm working towards is being the individual that doesn't need to latch on to the titles, but encompasses all
Mhm.
of the wisdom and all of the experience of the things that I've done to then provide that abundance that I have, that growth that I have, that understanding, because that way I can present something to an individual that they can take on, right? Like I said, the leadership that they can bring about and say, I am all these things. I have all these experience. I can actually make informed decisions based off these experiences. Whether they were harsh, whether there are things that we probably don't want to repeat, it's still wisdom, right? It's still
Mhm.
learning. Now everything is informed. Now you are equipped. So the education and empowerment makes the risk, the fun, and everything that much more accessible. because you're coming from a place of abundance, right? You're now tapped into source. Now you're resourceful. So for me, I want to make sure that I continue that with my coaching, with my business, and everything that I do, whether it's volunteering, whether it's being a great partner, doesn't matter. I want to come from a place of source. I want to be resourceful to the individuals that I impact and that are in my environment.
Yeah.
So that is really where I'm taking my
Mm.
wellness coaching and everything else that I will embark on.
I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited to see where you go. I'm so excited to do. I have one question. What's with firewater?
So I was sitting there thinking about this after Transcendence. I'm like, okay, by the way, I quit my job after Transcendence. I quit my job and I was making close to six figures, whatever. And I was like,
Mhm.
I'm done. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, there's no such thing as balance. I always feel like balance is something that we
Right.
focus on trying to harness, but there's no such thing, right? There's
Right.
always that yin yang and things like that. I was like, what are some balancing elements that are so necessitable for life that you can't deal without them, but together they create this type of presence, this pause, like this need. And I was like, man, fire is what we use, right? It's friction,
Mhm.
it's fuel, it's heat, it's safety, it's light.
Mm.
And I thought about water, it's calming, it's cleansing, it's like life-giving.
I
And I'm
like
like,
it. It's like the yin and
we
the
need
yang.
both, but we need both. It is
You have to have
not a
both.
question. We're thermogenic
Right.
people, right? We
Right.
burn. So
Yeah.
I was like, we need both. So I was like, a movement that appreciates and highlights both and that blends those in. And that's when I was like, okay, firewater movement. That's where it's at. That's how we're starting this
I
thing off.
love I absolutely love it. Branding wise, everything wise, like I was just like, when I saw, I was like, yes, yes, even more. There's a lot of yeses in my world right now with you. Um, but yeah, I'm happy. Is there any last bit? And I'm loving the fire. I love the analogy. I love comes in. And I do want to respect other people's time that we comes up because I think me and you can talk for hours if we come. It was
That
just
is
like I
very
have a couple of people. Like I have a couple of people that come on here and we can talk for like long periods of time. And so thank you so much for being here. You are such a joy and such a pleasure to be around. And for everyone that's listening, we'll make sure to have all of BT's information on the links below. This will be up for 72 hours. And then just remember that we do take it down. They go turn into shorts. And then we will relaunch it on Bina Bendale at YouTube. Please subscribe and we will relaunch when he comes back out. It is also a surprise to me when your launch goes out. We circulate it and then we kind of do like a Rochambeau type of thing. It's a fun thing that me and my team does actually, just to keep things alive. And so we're like, how come this mine didn't go out? And I'm like, because we just literally pin it. And then one time someone will come up and it's just the fun part of it because then it keeps us on our toes too. And then
yeah.
it just keeps it more entertaining on our end. Yeah. Cause you gotta keep your
Right.
listeners a little,
Keep
you
them
gotta
on
keep them a
edge,
little
man.
bit. You gotta keep them
Yeah,
on
keep
edge a
them
little
on
bit.
edge.
So thank you so much. Please stay on after this. Thank you so much, guys. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Next week, we are celebrating mine and my husband's birthday. So we will
Oh,
not be doing a live next Friday, but we will be coming back on June 14th with one of my personal mentors. So I'm really excited for that. So thank you
well,
guys,
thank
and
you,
we will see
Bina.
you again.
Thank
Oh,
you, Bina. Thank you for having this platform and allowing entrepreneurs to vent and speak their mind and connect with you. You're amazing. I really do
oh,
appreciate it.